Well, here we are again. What up? As you know, I'm R15. I will be your uninvited guest for the evening. And today's show, man, I think it's going to be a little bit, just a tad bit different than my last two shows. I think I'm going to get into some stuff that when I first told people about this idea of me having a podcast or a show, whatever, I think that this is the type of stuff that they wanted me to talk about. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And the people that know me that are in my circle, when they hear this, they'll be like, that's what I've been waiting on. That right there. That's what I've been wanting to hear. But we'll get into that. And we'll see how that goes because, it could go either way, but it really doesn't matter to me. If it's good, it's good. It's going to be factual. That's all I know. So, so, so you can take it how you want to take it, but you can go and confirm everything I'm going to say in this whole show. So, now that we got that little bit out the way, let's begin. And let's begin as we always do, because usually I talk about, some entertainment stuff, and we'll get into that now. So, over the weekend, Disney had their I don't know what it was. It was like a conference, or it's basically like this big conference thing where they released and announced a bunch of stuff. Like they announced like shows, movies, projects that they're working on, stuff like that. And within that, there was a bunch of movie and TV show previews. And a lot of them were weird. I want to say like there's a lot of Marvel stuff in there. A lot of stuff that wasn't in the roadmap. I guess we're getting. But I did see that there was a Lion King preview about his dad Mufasa. For what? Like, it better have James Earl Jones in it. I know that. But for what? I don't understand. We know what happens to Mufasa. Like, we know he dies. You know what I'm saying? What's the point? Because if you think about the Lion King, right? All they're going to do is basically go through the same journey that Simba went through. Like, what else could it be about besides him growing up and becoming, the king and all that stuff? Like, I didn't get that one. That one's a weird one to me. But it leads me into my point, which is, well, one of my points, which is, how come we have no more original ideas? Like, I don't understand. It's nothing, like, as far as entertainment is concerned, there's no original ideas coming out. It's all either remakes, reboots, or prequels. That's all we get. Or it's a bunch of shows that nobody asked for and nobody's interested in. Like She-Hulk that I talked about last show. That piece of garbage. But there's no original ideas. And it's funny because when you look at other places, like I've said it before, I'm a big Korean music fan. Like I listen to, or K-pop, whichever one. I hate that umbrella that they put all, because when you talk about K-pop, it just puts it in this little ball of pop music, and it's not. There's, like I said, it incorporates different genres under that umbrella. But if you look at Korea in general and their entertainment scene, they have a bunch of original ideas, like Squid Game. Look at that. Now they're making an American version of that, which I don't know why, when the show is good enough as it is. There was a show I recently watched, a Korean show, and it was called it was so good. Remarriage and Desires. So good. That show is so good. It's on Netflix. Highly recommended. That show is so good, man. And the soundtrack is awesome. But yeah, man, like they have that. So you got Squid Games, you got Remarriage and Desires, Alice in Borderland, Like there's so many Korean shows that are so good, and I don't understand. Love Alarm, that's another good one. Like these shows are so good and they're original, and it's a breath of fresh air. That's why I watch so much of their that content, because it's so original and it's stuff that I've never seen before. But then we come back over here, and like I said, it's nothing but remakes, reboots, prequels. Like, okay, but there was one preview for one movie in this whole Disney thing that's been making the rounds. Everybody's talking about it, and it's been a huge, huge thing over the last couple days. And that movie is The Little Mermaid. Now, I'm gonna show my age here a little bit. I grew up on Disney movies. Okay, I grew up like around the time when Aladdin came out. I saw Lion King when it came out. Like, I seen The Little Mermaid. Like all these movies, I grew up on watching. So I grew up on Disney, and when I seen The Little Mermaid, right, I went and watched the preview, and I was like, first off, when it starts off, and if you haven't seen the trailer, I go check it out. But the way it starts off is, first off, the lighting is horrible. I don't know who's doing this movie, but the lighting is just, it looks like a horror movie when it first starts off. Like that's what it looks like. It looks like you're about to get eaten by something. Like it's just leading you up to getting eaten, or something getting eaten. So there's that. But it goes up, and what everybody's talking about is Ariel. Now, I had seen who was playing Ariel before this preview, and I was just like, whatever, never heard of her, so whatever. We'll see when the trailer drops or whatever. And I gotta say, it looks like hot garbage. It looks like hot garbage. Here's Ariel. Like, okay, man. Okay. I don't understand. It's not. Here's the thing. Not only are we just so damn lazy that we can't come up with original ideas, we take it beyond that. We're so lazy that when we talk about these ideas and remakes and all that, the only difference that we can come up with is let's race swap the character. Like, what the fuck, man? It's just lazy, man. It's just lazy. And on top of that, here's my thing. Most people think, because they're not, they don't know, but most people think that like The Little Mermaid is an original story by Disney. And newsflash, it's not. This story has been around for a while. And it's a Dutch story. Or no, hold on. My bad. I got it wrong again. It's not Dutch. It's Danish. I always misremember. I don't know why. Story time, real quick. I always misremember that. Story time. So, this is still in this subject. So, this story, the preview came across my feed, one of my feeds on my social media, right? And usually when I look at these previews and stuff, I always go to the comment section because there's always something funny down there, especially if it's hot garbage like this was. So I always check and see what the funny comment is going to be. But I saw a comment, and it says something to the effect of something like, just a reminder, Ariel's black, so deal with it, and there's nothing you can do about it, or something like that. And, the first thing that comes to my head is, well, I mean, they said the same thing about Lightyear, and look how that turned out. Nobody went to see that shit. So we can, not see it or not buy a ticket to it. With all the torrent sites and all that stuff, you can easily watch it from home. Or we're just not interested. But, so there was that comment, and I left a comment that says something to the effect of, I'm not going to do it verbatim, but it said, just a reminder, The Little Mermaid is a Dutch story. I know it's Danish, but for some reason I always get those two countries confused. I know one's the Netherlands and the other one's what, Denmark. I know, I get it. I just always get it confused. I did it organically just now. Um, but I said just a reminder. The Little Mermaid is a Dutch story. I know it's Danish. Um, and that I thought cultural appropriation was wrong. And I left that there. And the funny part is, I kept getting replies for that comment, and the replies were first it was a bunch of dummies that were just sitting there trying to correct me on my mistake of the country. You know what I'm saying? Because I misremembered the country. Um, but none of the people that replied to that comment dealt with the point, which was I thought cultural appropriation was wrong. You know, none of them dealt with that point. So usually and this is me. So usually if I say something or post something and you just completely ignore the point for the more whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it oh, I got him, he got the wrong country. Instead of addressing the point, which is the second part of the comment, I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to reply to you. There's no point, because you just skip past the whole point of the whole post, which is cultural appropriation. I thought it was wrong. Now I could care less personally, but you know, you're a hypocrite because you want. Why does it only work one way too? Like, let me get back into the Little Mermaid. But why does it only work one way? How come? How can we only change? How can we only like race swap characters that are mostly good guys, or on the main character or whatever? You never see it the other way around. How come there's no villains? You know what I mean? How come how come there's no I forget what happened. I think somebody said something stupid too. Somebody said something and I'm all over the place here, but try to follow me. There was another comment I think that said something to the effect of who cares, bruh, or something like that. And I was like, okay, bruh, that's true. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Okay. And I said something to the effect of, yeah, that's true. Personally, I'm hoping that a Japanese actor plays Nelson Mandela in his little film or whatever about his life. you know, let's just race swap everybody, right? You know, um, but I don't know this actress. Getting back to Little Mermaid, I have no idea who this actress is. I don't even know if she's an actress. I've heard she's a musician. I don't know. Never heard of her before. I think her name's like Haley Bailey or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Because people kept getting it mixed up with Halle Berry, and I was like, bruh, Halle Berry is not going to play Little Mermaid. She's too old for that. Um, but I don't know this actress. Okay. But I'm so sick of them being so lazy, and all they do is race swap the character. And first of all, let's compare it. Okay. Let's look at this. This is a comparison of the characters. Like, why? I saw another comment where somebody said, like, why does Disney have such a problem with redheads? Like, they keep race swapping redheads. Like historically, black people aren't redheads. Like, it's very very strange, and it's an anomaly. You know what I mean? Um, for a natural redhead, because redheads are well, gingers, redheads, whatever you want to call them. They're pretty rare in general. But I'm all over the place here. Getting back to this trash. I'm not interested. Okay. I'm just tired of them going and race swapping people just for the sake of race swapping. Like, and it's not even that, because if you look at it, it depends on the actor, I guess, too, sometimes. Because if you look at let's go back to Thor, right? The Marvel movie Thor. Go back to Thor. If you look at Heimdall, right, who is played by Idris Elba. I like Idris Elba as an actor. He's a great actor. His resume speaks for itself. Um, I didn't care about that swap. I really could care less about the swap. But it's like, this is a story that's a classic, and I saw videos of people showing their kids, little black girls mostly, showing them the preview, and they're using it to say like, oh, she's so happy because she's being representative. No, the fuck she's not. No, the fuck she's not. She's a child. She's happy. Ariel could have been just a fish. As long as it was just a little mermaid, she was going to be happy, regardless of the race of the character. I'm so sick of that shit. Like, the kids don't care what color the character is. However, most of us care about, keeping this stuff as close to source material as possible. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm so sick of people always saying stuff like, oh, well, cultural appropriation this, cultural appropriation that, but then you turn around and do it to yourself. Like, what's next? Are we gonna let's do it the other way? Let's make some villains or some bad people in history. Let's race swap them. Let's get Idris Elba to play a certain German leader from the 1940s. How about that? Let's get that. Let's let's look at that. How about we get that in there? Because funny part is, I think he could pull it off. I think he's such a good actor. I think he could pull that off. But it's just dumb, man. I'm just so tired of the hypocrisy. You know what I mean? And it was funny watching people just not deal with the point itself and just deal with, oh, you got the country wrong or you misspoke or whatever. Like okay, but you're not going to address the second part of the comment. Got it. But yeah, I don't know, man. And I know the idiots will come out and say, oh, it's a children's show. Why do you care? Because it's going to be a generational thing. You know what I mean? Like I said before, most people think that this story is originally by Disney. And it's not, I'm just tired of people just, yeah, let me move on because it's getting dumb. It's starting to piss me off. All right, so moving on. This is going to be the part of the show that's going to be a bit of a show that people want me to do, basically. But something happened like a week or two ago where I was just like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do with this information here. So over the weekend, our president had a little speech, right? And I'm talking about the now infamous Revenge of the Sith looking speech. Dude, like, come on, dog. Come on, man. I'm using his word now, his phrases. Come on, man. Like, bruh. Like, seriously? Have you never seen, like, old footage of Soviet speeches or old footage of Nazi speeches? Have you not seen that stuff? Like, who told him that this red background was a good idea? And I know that there was blue on the other sides, but this is not a good look. Like, you just look like a little dictator, an old dead dictator. Like, like I don't understand, man. Who greenlit this? I don't. And the shit he was talking about some stupid shit about. What was the phrase he was using? MAGA Republicans? What the fuck? What is that? What the hell is that? It's just division, man. And I hated the whole aura of this came off as very dictatorish, and it's just like, bruh, y'all need to calm down. But so he did this, right? He did this little speech where he ripped he grouped a whole bunch of people into this little bubble and called them all kinds of shit. And as far as politics is concerned, myself, I don't really have a dog in the fight. Like, I've been on both sides of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty center when it comes to what I believe. Well, I mean, being center means you're center right now, but because the other side is nuts, man. I don't know what they believe in. Like, A lot of them people are just crazy. But he did this, right? And it got me thinking. It got me thinking, like, you know, I think it's funny how over the history of this country, how it's flipped. You know what I mean? How these things have flipped, and a lot of people don't go back and revisit history. You know what I mean? Because it's like people like to demonize the U.S. is the U.S. because of its past, saying stuff like America was never great and this country is trash because of its history and all this stuff, right? But yeah, these will be the same people that'll be, having that stupid Ukrainian flag on their profiles, or yelling to the rooftops, support Ukraine. I'm so supportive of Ukraine and its people and stuff like that. So we're just going to ignore the fact that Ukraine sided with the Nazis. Their history, their past don't matter, right? Their past don't matter. Everybody wants to call everybody a Nazi, right? And that's the worst thing you can call anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's like, if you're called that, then you're like the worst thing ever, right? Which Nazis are trash, but most people are LARPing nowadays that consider themselves that. And now everything, people get called Nazis for just anything, like because they don't agree with you. Like it's so stupid. But this country, Ukraine, actually sided with the Nazis in World War II. It was an ally to them, not us. And we're just going to forget about their past. They get a pass. They're not trash. We should save them. We should go to war for them. Nah, hard pass. Hard pass. I'm out. And I know that, Japan sided with the Nazis too. I understand. And I love Japan. But here's the difference. Japan got their ass whooped pretty bad. They got 2 nuclear bombs dropped on them. So there's some sympathy there. You know what I'm saying? But let's do a little bit more history. Let's go into the history of the people that are saying this stupid shit, because mostly it's people that don't understand the history of the U.S. So let's do a quick little history lesson here, as far as how the dynamic has switched somehow, and how the country itself is bad based on its history. But the people that always say that are always on the left-leaning side. You ever notice that? Like, most of the people that say those things lean to the left, or mostly Democrat. You ever notice that? I don't get it. Because if you look at the history of the Democratic Party back in the day, okay? Back in the day, the South was called the Democratic South, right? Like, the South was Democrat, not Republican. You know what I mean? The North was mostly mixed. As far as the power is concerned, a lot of the power was Republican, but it was all mixed up in the North. But the South was hardcore Democrat. And not only that, the Confederates were Democrats. Like, if we're going to talk about past, we fought a whole civil war against the Confederates, who were historically Democrat. You know what I mean? And the funny part is, like, not only was the Confederates Democrats, okay? The Democrats also started the KKK. Like, let's not get it twisted here. That party started the KKK. And then if you want to go further than that, that the Democrats also voted against the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment? You know that? The 13th Amendment, as most people know, outlawed slavery. Okay? They were against that. So you get what I'm saying when I say that the South was mostly Democrat. Because they wanted to keep slavery alive. They didn't want it to go away. That's why we had to fight the Civil War. Okay? The 14th Amendment, which gave former slaves, citizenship. So they were officially United States citizens after that passed. They voted against that. And then the 15th Amendment, which gave slaves the right to vote. Well, former slaves the right to vote because they were citizens now. Gave them the right to vote. They voted against that too. So, what are we talking about here? Like, are we just gonna just ignore that side of history? Like, they get a pass for that? That's why I've always said I could never be fully on the left because of that history. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to associate with that shit. Not only that, check this out. So, they also voted for the Civil Rights Act by about, like, what, 70%, I think it was? 70% of Democrats voted against the Civil Rights Act? Like, what the fuck? What? Like, how come people don't know this stuff? How come people don't look this up? And how come they don't hold the same standard when it comes to their chosen party? You know? If America was trash because of its past, how come that party is not trash because of its past? And I'm not saying that the Republicans are or the right, or whatever you want to call them, conservative, whatever you want to call them. Okay, I'm not saying that they're angels. No, they've had their times too. You know what I mean? No, nobody's perfect. That side ain't perfect either. They talk a lot of wild shit now, but like I said, it's flipped a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, how come people want to talk shit about the past in one sense, and not talk about the past in another sense? Kind of hypocritical, don't you think? It's kind of hypocritical, because now they're doing what that side is doing what they've done over the course of their history of being a party. You know, they divide you into these groups based off of, you know, characteristics that you can't help, you know, things that you're born with, like your skin color or stuff like that. Or the thing that I can't stand nowadays is that you can't even have difference of ideas anymore. Like, that's where we're at. Like, if you think differently than me, you're pretty much a bad person. That's what we're going with now. You know, it's gotten to a point where we don't even believe in actual provable facts. You know what I mean? Like, we've gotten so far. This is how Rome fell. Like, seriously. This is how Rome fell. It fell internally. And I think it's headed towards a path. I think it's coming back on tracks, because a lot of people are starting to get these wake up calls that a lot of these people, because a lot of the people that believe in these certain things are really loud, but there's not a lot of them. You know what I mean? And I think as they get older, they start to think like, what the hell was I thinking? You know, you know, because I get it, because like back when I was growing up, I guess I would have been considered, because I was one of those people that, you know, grew up in the hood, and I had that way of thinking because I was in the hood, where it was like, you know, police are killing us, and this is back in the 90s though, but police are killing us, and the man's always holding me down, and this and that, and when I grew up, man, I got out of that mentality fast, because it's weak. It's a weak mentality to have. Like, you have the choice to do what you want to do. Like, if you don't like your job, you can quit and get a new one. Okay, you want a better job, then, you know, you're going to have to change it up a bit. You know what I mean? You want a better career path, you got to do some different things. I mean, with the internet now, you can do pretty much anything you want. Look, I'm doing a podcast right now. You know what I mean? I'm doing a show. I'm sitting here in the comfort of my own home, just talking on a microphone is what I'm doing, you know? But I'm bouncing around everywhere. I'm bouncing around from topic to topic and just rambling on about a bunch of random stuff. But you understand what I'm saying, man. It's like, how about we go back to the time where we could, you know, instead of basing people off of their said belief or characteristics or something like that, how about we base it off of just who they are? How about the merit of the person? How about we go back to that? Like, why can't we just be open to people? I don't understand. Because like I said before, this is how Rome fell. Division against its own, division against amongst each other is how you destroy a country. Because when you got one side demonizing the other based on beliefs instead of just saying, "Oh, okay, well you believe that? Well, I don't, but to each his own," and then going about your day. Because it's all about, like, cancel culture is the same thing. Like, it's so funny that people are so entitled that it's not that they can turn the channel, because you can turn the channel, but you don't want to. You want it to not exist, which is worse. Like, I don't understand, man. I don't get the times we live in. I do not get it. Just, we don't believe in reality anymore. Well, a lot of people do. Let me not get it twisted, okay? I'm not gonna put everybody in the same box like these other people do, okay? It's just a small minority of people who are really loud, and a lot of it's funny because a lot of people say things like, well, the right side has all the power. The right side has all the power, and they're keeping us down and they're oppressing, and I'm sitting here and I'm always like, every time I go on Twitter or any social media, they're all run by the left. All the social media sites are run by the left. All the, like, Hollywood and the actors and stuff, majority of them, I would say about 98%, are on the left side of the aisle. So where's all the power? Most of the people that like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and all them people, they're all on the left. All these billionaires are left. So who really has the power here? Like, I remember back in the day, it was fight the power, we're not gonna take it. All them cliches, you know what I mean? But now we trust these people. Like, we trust the government, we trust the pharmaceutical companies, like, we trust all that stuff now. We're just blindly following everything they say. I don't understand. I'm kind of glad that I lived through the flip, because it's funny. It's funny when, from growing up between, fight the power and all this stuff, and then now, where it's like most people agree with the government. Not most people. I shouldn't say most people. The loudest people. I keep saying that. But the loudest people agree with what the government's doing. And the whole pharmaceutical company, and, it's crazy, man. And that speech, the optics of it just kind of made me think, like, what the hell is really going on in this country today? We don't believe in reality anymore. And not only that, but we don't take accountability. And that's not the way to live, man. When you don't take accountability for the things that you do, for the choices you make, like, I don't understand how you're living your life. I don't understand how you're just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's just insane, man. The times are insane. But I'll have to get into more of this type of talk as this goes on. Maybe I'll start actually, because I used to write, like, well, I still do it from time to time. I write, like, stories and stuff, fictional stories. And maybe I need to get into basically actually sitting down and hammering out, like, some script work, I guess you would say, for the show from now on, because there's so much stuff that runs through my head at a time that it's hard to get it all out when it's just going 110 miles per hour, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I'll just start writing stuff down and actually putting together a script, because so I can stay, because I go off topic and I ramble a lot, and I need to get out of that habit. I need to start actually putting some kind of structure together, give me some topics. So maybe that's what we'll do going forward for the show, which is going to put a lot more work on to myself, but to each his own. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep the show consistent. So if I got to hammer out a script every week to try and do that, then I'll do that, But I didn't want to do it with this show because, because usually I'm off script, or I'm off, basically off the cuff, I guess you would say. You know, I don't have anything in front of me except for the stuff I prepare to bring up on the screen. You know, and I just talk about stuff that pisses me off, like the Manti Te'o thing, pissed me off. The Little Mermaid thing pissed me off. She-Hulk twerking pisses me off. I Oh man, I guess idiots in general piss me off. I don't know. I don't get mad that often, like as far as like human interaction. As far as when I interact with people, I don't get mad like that. Like I'm pretty chill. Like I'm pretty cool, and I usually just, I have a don't care attitude for the most part. It's like if you do something that I'm not into, I'm just like, all right, man, if that's what you're into. I'm not doing that shit, but well, cool. Do you? I don't really care. But yeah, man, that's what I think. That's what I'll start doing. I think I'm gonna actually sit down from now on and hammer out a script. Now, bear with me. The first couple of shows will probably be a bit rough because like I said, my thoughts run like 1,000 miles per hour, so it's just racing in there, and I'm just gonna actually have to sit down and type out some kind of little note or something saying, hey, slow your ass down. You're everywhere. You're all across the map. But yeah, what else can I talk about? Let me get on to a lighter topic. I don't know what else to talk about because that's really all I actually had prepared was, a little bit of political bullshit mixed with some entertainment bullshit that happened this weekend. I know House of the Dragons episode 4 came out. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. And I'm gonna tell you this. That was probably, well, episode 3 was pretty good too. But episode 3 and 4 were different. Were good for different reasons. Episode 3 was good because we got more combat, and it kind of took me back to the classic Game of Thrones where you get a bunch of violence, and then you go to episode 4 and you get like a bunch of sex. That's how it was, man. It was like pick your poison, which one you want. But it was really good, man. Spoiler alert! I might go into some spoilers, so I'm gonna tell you right now. But Daemon Targaryen, the way that actor is playing him, I'm entertained. Him and Rhaenyra, I'm really digging those two actors. They're doing a very good job with this. I don't know how many episodes, because if it's gonna be the traditional Game of Thrones, then it'll only be 8 episodes, which is like the new thing now. 8 episodes is pretty standard. So if it's going to be 8 episodes, then we've officially made it halfway into the season, and it's going by quick, man. It's going by so fast, and it's going to be so sad because with all the announcements of who they're trying to get to be in the second season, it's going to take at least 2 to 3 years before we get that season, man. And it sucks. It sucks to have to wait. Because when I initially watched Game of Thrones, I think I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until I think season 5 was coming out. Because I basically just binge watched the whole Game of Thrones. Like from episode 1 all the way up to the season 5 release. I just binge watched it all the way through because I was hooked. But yeah, we're gonna get that drought. But I think we got The Witcher coming, so maybe that'll fill the void as far as shows. I still haven't finished a lot of shows, man. Like I haven't finished the most recent season of Elite. I know Cobra Kai came out, and I didn't finish the season before the one that just came out released. The thing about Cobra Kai is like I don't know what it is, man. It just seems like some shows just go on for too long, and they start to get, because I'm getting that way with Elite. It's just not as good as it used to be. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I'll probably finish these shows eventually Besides that, Warriors getting another season coming out, a third season. Warriors really good. It's a show on it was originally on Cinemax, and then let's see if I can pull up the artwork here. Let's see, Warrior. Because it was originally on Cinemax, and then it got moved to HBO. Now I think HBO owns Cinemax. I believe. Don't quote me on that because I really don't. I really don't know. But I'll probably watch. I need to rewatch this before it comes out. This is a great show, by the way. As you can see at the top, it's based off the writings of Bruce Lee. So I guess Bruce Lee made a story about this, and it's a really good show. I enjoyed it. It's got a lot of action. It's really good. It's really well acted. The one of the lead actresses in this was actually the I don't know if you ever seen the show Marco Polo on Netflix. Also a good show. I wish it would come back for a third season. That show was so good. It was like a Asian version of Game of Thrones. Is basically what that is, and it was so good. But the actress that plays the Chinese dude's sister, who was also like some assassin or something. She's in this show, and she's really dope in this show. It's like the same character basically. She plays like a brothel owner in Warrior, and she's really good. So that's a really good show too. But yeah, I have no clue about the entertainment industry and this whole woke culture thing that everybody. I think it's going in reverse though. I think it's starting to catch up. Because I told my friends, like, this thing's gonna turn around, right? All this woke culture and soft shit that's going around. It's gonna turn around, and we're gonna get like the Colosseum times. There's gonna be blood. Like, shows are gonna start being like the Colosseum in Rome and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be bloody. So when we start getting people fighting lions, we'll see how that goes. Oh man, I don't know. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all that's going on. Besides, it's my favorite time of year though. NFL time. I'm a big NFL person. Love my San Francisco 49ers. Huge 49er fan. I know we went down. Earlier. I know. We lost to the Bears. Yeah, I'm pretty pissed about it, but it's early, man. It's only game one, so we'll see how that goes. But that's usually what I do. That's probably why, because Sundays are a busy day. So usually I record on Sundays, but now we got NFL all day, and then Game of Thrones after that, or House of the Dragon, and then I gotta record after that. So I got a full day on Sundays now, and but I'm here for it. And like I said, it's gonna be consistent as long as I'm not sick like I was last time. Down for the count, I should be able to pump out this show. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a show, man. I think it's a little bit shorter than most of the other shows. I try to keep it in between 40 minutes to an hour. A lot of people want me to go longer. But we'll see. Maybe when I start doing this script writing, or I don't know what you want. I don't like calling it a script because it's an outline. That's what it's gonna be. It's like more of a show outline, is what it's gonna be. Maybe the show can then go on to be longer, because I don't know. Because I'm not gonna try to limit myself when I'm writing. So maybe that's a way I can extend the show naturally. Because I know I'm gonna go off of the outline anyways, because I just like I'm gonna have an opinion about stuff. So yeah. So that's pretty much about it, man. Not much going on over the weekend besides the whole Disney fiasco. We'll see what this week brings. I'm sure something will pop up as it always does. But I think that's gonna wrap it up, man. That's gonna be a show for this week. So, you know, I'll see y'all next week. I'm gonna be out. Um, I've been your uninvited guest for the evening, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.